Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of Coitimes, Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy.
So this begs the question, why is training hundreds of military personnel from all four branches of special forces training on site SWAT the line zone?
God will watch you for devastating video. Is made up Hurricane Mark. That came out of nowhere.
We are building a wall on the southern border, which is absolutely necessary. Believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
I take Revelation 16 and 19 first.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 19.
Go ahead.
And the great city was divided into three parts.
That great city was divided into three parts. Didn't it say of a great earthquake before that?
Verse 18.
Go ahead.
And there were voices and thunders and lightnings. And there
Shalom,
was a great
brothers and
earthquake, such as what...
This is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of
There was a great
Coitimes,
earthquake.
Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy.
Okay, first and foremost, I have to give all glory and praise to AHAYAH, AHAYAH, Bahashim Yeshaya, Wakwadash Wawak. I have to say Shalom, Israel, peace and blessings. Okay, so there's so much going on, and I just want to get straight to it. Okay, we're in the end times, and we like to focus mainly on the prophecies of Matthew 24, when Yeshaya Christ warned us about what would come in the end times before his actual coming. And as we see a lot of propaganda going on with the QAnon and all the patriots of, blasting the internet with all this information about QAnon. So we have to really concentrate on not being distracted, Israel. Okay, excuse me, my cat is going off, but we have to make sure that Israel is not distracted by all this information, and we must realize that the programming is very heavy, and we have to know that we have to get out of Babylon. The main objective is for them to keep the people still, just like they did in 70 AD. We must remember that the scriptures tell us in Ecclesiastic that there's nothing new under the sun, and what will be, what already happened, and I'm paraphrasing, what will happen now is what already happened in the past, and what will be has already been. But I'll post those scriptures up to remind you that you must pay attention and not be deceived. We must come out of Babylon as soon as possible. Okay, I wanted to bring your attention to some information that that's not being aired or talked about too much. There was a press conference in the last couple of days that President Trump had addressed the issue of the wall. Now, for those of you who don't understand the significance of this wall being built, in 70 AD, and when they ransacked Jerusalem and took our people down, the Roman Empire, they built a wall around Jerusalem, and they locked the people in, and there was no food or no water was allowed to come in or out. And so eventually our people started to die of famine and kill each other for food. And then the Roman armies came in and took down Israel. Those who were affected were those who did not heed Christ's, Yeshaya's call to tell them to come out of Jerusalem. So they stood around and they listened to some of the other prophets and priests and teachers telling them to stay still, that they didn't have to leave yet, that there were still more signs and things like that. Meanwhile, the Most High put a sword in the sky as a warning to tell them that destruction was coming. So just the same things are happening as we speak right now. We are being distracted and told that we can sit still in America when destruction is right upon us. The children of Israel must get out of Babylon. And I'm going to play this clip of President Trump saying that he can build the wall within 1 year. Now that means that they too, just like in 70 AD, will lock the children of Israel in, and no one will be able to get in or out of America once this wall is built. So Israel, you only have 1 year to get up out of there before they lock the children of Israel in, and no one will be able to get out or get in of America. So let me play this clip for you.
I can build it for less, by the way.
But you want?
I must tell you, I'm looking at these prices. Somebody said 42 billion. This is like the aircraft carrier. It started off at $1.5 billion, and it's now at 18 billion. No, we can do it for less. We can do a great job. We can do a great wall, but you need the wall, and I'm now getting involved. I like to build under budget, okay? I like to go under budget ahead of schedule. There's no reason for 7 years also. I heard the other day, please don't do that to me. 7 years to build a wall. We can build the wall in 1 year,
Yes, sir.
and we can build it for much less money than what they're talking about. And any excess funds, and we'll have a lot of, whether it's a Woolman rink or whether it's any, I build under budget, and I build ahead of schedule. There is no reason to ever mention 7 years again, please. I heard that. I said, I wanted to come out with a major news conference, Tom, yesterday. No, they can go up quickly, it can go up effectively, and we can fix a lot of the areas right now that are really satisfactory if we renovate those walls and those fences.
Can you tell us how many miles of wall you're contemplating, whether it's 17 million or that, or 13
Yeah,
million?
we're doing a study on that right now. But there are large areas where you don't need a wall because you have a mountain and you have a river, and you have a violent river, and you don't need it. Okay?
Okay, so as you can see, President Trump is not playing any games. He said he don't even want to hear 7 years. He don't want to discuss it, that he can build this wall in 1 year. So I urge you, brothers and sisters, to get out of Babylon. I urge you to pack your bags and get out. And don't look back and don't listen to anyone. We are in war right now, and people are trying to keep the children of Israel still on purpose. There is so much being done disinformation wise and propaganda wise, and they have all kind of agents and people working against the children of Israel. And I want to add this in the scriptures, and when you go into Matthew 24 and 24, it says, "For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, that they would deceive the very elect." So it's saying that the very elect would be deceived at this time. Now, how could that be? What was Christ talking about? See, we are being, so much information is being pushed. We are in awe at all the information that we are receiving from these Hebrew Israelites that all of a sudden popped out of nowhere, giving us, we are Israel, we have to come together, we are the blessed people. So naturally we are excited as a people, and we want to come together, we want to do everything together. But Christ told us that possibly the elect would be deceived. Now, who are the elect? The elect are those of us who are waking up to this truth and who actually understand that what this Bible is saying and who the Bible is speaking about. Because many of us are still asleep, as you know, we can't even talk to our friends and family about this. So you and I are the elect. Christ said possibly, if it were possible, that the elect would be deceived. Now, how could this happen? With all this truth information coming out of the Israelite community, but there's information that's being withheld. All the children of Israel are sitting in Babylon, and you got President Trump telling you he got 1 year, he can build a wall to our destruction in 1 year. Brothers and sisters, wake up. Get yourselves together and get out of Babylon. You are running out of time. And meanwhile, we got priests, our prophets, our brothers, our teachers sitting in Babylon, sitting you still as if you have time. You are out of time. You are out of time. So I urge you to go into this information. Look at the prophecies of what Christ said would happen. Yes, he did say wars and rumors of wars, and the time is not yet. But we are way past that time. The wars and the rumors of wars are finished. We are actually in war. They are testing these missiles. The other day there was a missile that was tested that was supposed to be for North Korea, and then they say, oh no, it was a mistake. You have to realize that everybody is in on this except the children of Israel. It's like a movie with the script being played out, and only the children of Israel don't know what's going on. It's all about you, and it's all about deceiving you, the children of Israel. So please, I urge that you don't take anything for granted. They are playing games, and they have set this thing up long before we were to awaken up out of our sleep. And so much so that Christ said that if it wasn't for he would cut the time short. Because if he didn't cut the time short, that everyone would be killed. So Christ knew that this diabolical plan would be so detailed that he would have to cut the time short. Because if he didn't, they would wipe us out altogether. That's how much they had planned and plotted to put this thing together. They took our brothers down. They put all these different agents out there. Soros spent billions of dollars to put agents out, sending people out to do their work. This thing is well planned and put together. Please consider what I'm saying and act as soon as possible. You have 1 year from this time now that this wall is supposed to be built to hold the children of Israel in. They are using the RFID chip to chip you and to hold you still. They got earthquakes and hurricanes and cyclones and winter warnings and all these things that Christ actually spoke about is actually happening. So we are out of time. And I pray you hear me and take heed to what I'm talking about. Also, I would like to go into another segment. In the last couple of news, CLI Time news, I have went into infiltration. And this is very important part of the deception, that possibly the elect would be deceived. They have Israelites, our own people, just like when you see these false flags and you see these fake families crying, and you know that it's not real tears, and that they're actors, the crisis actors. They have sent out crisis actors out even here to Jordan, where people are posing as Israelites, posing that they're coming out for this truth, and they have no intentions, they have no heart or love for Israel or being an Israelite, and they're paid just like these crisis actors that's sitting in America. This thing has been well planned out, Israel. So you cannot be deceived. And what I have to say is this, that Christ told us that the wheat and the tare would be mingled together and not to pluck them up. So we have to understand that we will be among people who are not really truly Israelites. We have people who have married Esau and their children are black, and they're black darker than I am. And just because we're black in skin does not mean that these are Israelites, and they will do the bidding of their father. You have to remember that, Israel. So, I have had a situation recently that has been going on for some time, and they're making war against me. We'll have our brother, Elder Ricard, who's talking about don't go to Jordan. Don't go to Jordan. There's a sister, which he's talking about me in Jordan. And they're trying to do everything to discredit me, to stop me, to not to help our people. They don't want me to make any money here because they know that I'm going to make money for tents, food, and shelter, and the things that we need. So they'll send people out. They'll do all kinds of things to distract and deter me and then speak against me. But I warned you in my CIA infiltration videos that they were going to do this. And I told you that they were going to give wrong locations, trying to get you to go into Israel when they know that Israel is going to be destroyed. Try to tell you that Jerusalem is over in Tel Aviv when they know that that's not where our Jerusalem was, that they were sacrificing to Baal and things like that over there in Samaria. And they would give you all these false, information and try to lead you in the wrong direction so that you couldn't make it here into Jordan, into where the holy mountain is, to worship AHAYAH. And I've warned you over and over, but now it's coming to a close, Israel. This information of Trump putting up this wall is very vital to you. So I urge that you don't be distracted and don't be put off by misinformation and all these things of QAnon and all these, missile alerts. You need to be preparing to get out of Babylon. That should be your only concern and the only thing that you would be considering right now. Also, they have our brother Elder Ricard telling you that, there's going to be a war in the Middle East. And it seems that they have changed the narrative. It's no longer about Revelation 18:4, which says, "Come out of her, my people, so that you do not partake in the plagues, the destruction that is coming to Babylon." No longer is that important. Now the narrative has switched to, don't go to Jordan. There's going to be a war there. But I have to ask you, what scripture tells you do not come to Jordan? But there is a scripture that says, "Come out of Babylon, my people." So let's not get twisted and turn, and don't let anybody switch the narrative on you and have you focusing on something that you don't need to focus on. Remember Christ's words. Remember the Most High's word and warning. He said in Revelation 18, "Come out of her, my people." He also, and I'll put up the scriptures where he said he will protect those within his borders. Jordan is within his borders. I'm standing on the word of the Most High. AHAYAH. Thus say AHAYAH. Come out of her, my people, that you partake not in the plagues that are coming to Babylon. It will be destroyed. It is destruction coming there. It don't say nothing about don't go to Jordan. That is not scripture. So you have to ask your elder, what scripture is that? Please do so, because they're switching the narrative on you and they're changing things around, or because you have love and trust for one of our Hebrew Israelite brothers, so that you are being deterred and distracted, and possibly the elect is being deceived, just like in 70 AD. So I just have to put this out there. There's so much information. There is a sister that was here a couple of years ago who recently made a video, and I'm going to post this video in this video as a warning to Israel. These are the CIA infiltrators, and there's a bunch of them, and I know a lot of them. But they try to use Elder Carr by saying, don't speak against your brother, don't speak against your sister. We are in a time of war, brothers and sisters. You must understand the time. The Most High said there's a time for everything. There's a time to love. There's a time for war. This is not the time to be singing Kumbaya with our brothers and sisters when you got infiltration amongst us, trying to stop you from getting where the Most High tells you to be, within his borders. Jordan is within the borders of AHAYAH, and you need to get there. Now, this sister that I'm going to go back to, her name is Ashley. She was here a couple of years ago, and this sister was an agent. She, and her cover was blown. But because she could get on YouTube and act like, this and that, she indirectly tries to speak bad about me in all her videos, talking about, this sister, and I did, this is what I did. And this sister came here. She's of the army. She's an army rat. and she's under medication, psychosis. I'm not sure if she's chipped or whatever, but she, out of her own mouth, told me that she was she worked for special sources in the Army, special services in the Army. And she came here and first, was trying to play innocent, came into my home and tried to cause confusion between another brother who had children in my home and who had came out of Babylon. And so much so, and there's so much I can speak about this situation, because it goes into also, it goes into also me telling our brothers and sisters about how they act and how much trouble that people be causing and bringing, when they don't have themselves together. But because this sister was an agent, it doesn't apply for her. She was purposely sent out, army, someone who was in the Army, still being paid by the Army and working for special services in the Army. And she told me this out of her mouth. And so then I started to question her, like, well, you could be doing that to us. So, we asked her, well, what is special services? What do you do? Well, she said, well, I'll go they'll deploy me out into a country and I'll sit and, as a civilian, and I'll determine and, talk to the people and get information from the people and, whatever the Army is requiring of her. So I was like, saying to myself, well, you could be doing that right here with us. And sure enough, that's what she was doing. She's under some kind of psychotropic drugs, where she, had for depression or whatever. But 9 out of 10, these people who are in the Army are already chipped, and they're already doing the bidding of our enemy. But because they're Hebrew Israelites, they send them out and to work among us to cause all kind of chaos and problems. And then if you call them out, they want to make YouTube videos and act like they were regular civilians, and they just, somebody did them wrong. If you notice with these agents, they always have a sad story. They always try to get you tugging on your heartstrings with these sad stories, or this happened to them, this happened to them. But yet, in this video that this sister posted, she managed to come out with a doctrine, a satanic doctrine, the Essene doctrine. And this is this is very important, brothers and sisters, because you'll notice that these agents, their main agenda is to always get you off from serving the Most High. Breaking His laws, statutes, and commandments are very vital at this time. The Most High wants us to come and worship Him. So you cannot be going off into another doctrine or keeping the wrong holy days or calling on the wrong name. That's why we went into captivity in the first place. This is what made the Most High have war with us. So now you have these people who come out of Babylon, and they'll be among you, and they'll say, well, here, you should check out this book or this doctrine or the Essenes doctrine. Or it's a very satanic doctrine. And there's a lot of people who are coming out of Babylon trying to introduce these kind of doctrines to brothers.
Explain to you why. So, this book that I have right here is the Gospel of the Holy 12. This is one of the hidden books in the Bible. And this is the book that actually helped me understand a lot. But just to put a pause on this, for all of you that are questioning and wondering why I no longer feel like America is Babylon, why I left from being in Jordan and Egypt and came back home, it was a spiritual evolution. And the Most High blessed some people's spirit to understand and know things and know when to move, and some people not, because they're still trapped in a snare, or they need to grow before they can move to the next phase of their life. I did a lot of praying and fasting, because not only was a lot of things not going well with the people that I dealt with over there, I actually had medical issues. And it came between, am I going to stick to my grounds about that America is Babylon? Is it really Babylon, or what's going on? And what about all the people that's over there? Like, are you telling me that the Most High is not going to save people? And
okay, so now as you see, this is a bunch of confusion. The sister uncovering her head. She was never a Hebrew Israelite trying to be in this truth. It was always some nonsense from the very beginning. But as you see, now she has to come with her true agenda, trying to get brothers and sisters, whoever will buy into the nonsense, off onto another doctrine, serving another God. This is the same group that's here trying to get people over into Israel, where they're trying to, so they can sacrifice your children over there, and that you can die over there in that war, in the Holocaust that they're about to bring on Israel, knowing that the Most High has to cleanse that place. So, brothers and sisters, it's very important that you pay attention and that you understand what is going on. Christ warned you in Matthew 24 that possibly even the elect would be deceived. They have taken our brothers down. All of them have some kind of different doctrine, and there's only one group that has this truth. And unfortunately, Elder Wakar is taken down as well. So he's not telling you that Jordan is the only safe place. That is the place within your borders where the holy mountain is, and AHAYAH is telling our people to come to. This, you have to wake up and snap out of it before it's too late. You have 1 year now. Trump has said 1 year he will build that wall. They will lock the children of Israel in Babylon and break out all Hades on the children of Israel. So I pray you take heed. I pray that you packing your bags and getting up out of there. And I'll keep coming with this information, and we'll continue to reveal these CIA agents who are being sent out to just destroy and distract us. These paid agents. I'll continue to expose them. So watch out for this sister, because it ain't all what she's trying to play. I mean, you can clearly see she's not trying to be a Hebrew Israelite anymore. And now she's trying to come with a doctrine of devils and bring it to our people. This is what it's all about. Please stay girded in this truth. Worship AHAYAH on his right holy days. Keep his name, AHAYAH Asher AHAYAH, and get into the right location within Jordan, within the borders. So I say all glory and praise to AHAYAH Asher AHAYAH. Bahashem Yeshaya, walk with us, will walk and bless you. Shalom.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of COI Times, Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy.
So this begs the question, why is training infiltration, military equipment, and special forces training on site SWAT the mine zone?
God watching for devastating. It is made up Hurricane Mark. That came out of nowhere.
We are building a wall on the southern border, which is absolutely necessary. Believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
That's in Revelation 16 and 19 verse.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 19.
Go ahead.
And the great city was divided into 3 parts.
That great city was divided into 3 parts. Didn't it say of a great earthquake before that?
Verse 17.
Go ahead.
And there were voices and thunders and lightnings. And there
Shalom,
was a great
brothers and
earthquake, such as
This
what
is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of
There was
COI
a great
Times,
earthquake.
Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy.